station towards the room. It's time for the Dwight Lilly Show, where the BS stops.
Okay, Dwight Lilly here again for Friday, August the 16th, 2019. This show is sponsored in part by the Private Well Owners Cooperative of Nye County, a leader in water and aquifer education and advocacy of the rural lifestyle and rights of domestic well owners. For more information, visit www.privatewellowners.com. Also by Dan Shinaki, a representative of Universal Solar Direct, a provider of solar power systems and high efficiency windows for both residences and businesses in Southern Nevada. For more information, call 858-345-7128. Also by Pure Communications, an internet service provider to Pahrump and surrounding communities. For more information, contact Pure Communications at 702-628-5662. And also by Betsy's Ethical Massage, located at the Pahrump Wellness Center, 2341 East Postal Drive in Pahrump. For more information, call 775-513-4026. The call-in number is 775-751-2579. Also, visit my YouTube channel at really simple, Dwight Lilly, and I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe there. These radio shows are cut up with pieces of them put on YouTube, so you don't have to listen to the whole show. And on my website, they're posted there at downtherabbitholemedia.com. Okay, tonight we're going to be talking just crazy, stupid, Looney Tune laws, and I have Dwight Hunter here with me. I guess we can call this the Dwight and Dwight show tonight. And what brought this about is I'm from Olympia, Washington originally, and Olympia is a fairly decent sized town. I think there's about 250,000 people in that area right there. But there's Olympia, there's Tumwater adjacent to it. You don't leave, you just go from one to the other, and that's where, even though it was called Olympia Beer, that's actually where the Olympia Brewery was when it was still operation. And then to the north, again connected to Olympia, is Lacey, Washington. And a guy I know was up in Lacey, and he's from Olympia, and he goes there, and this summer they have passed a very stupid ordinance. The town of Lacey have. And the whole area is becoming anti-normal people. Let's just put it that way. Anti-normal people. When I lived up there, it was a blue-collar, conservative, small town. There was lumber mills. My dad was a tugboat captain, and the federal government had a port there in Olympia, and he worked for him, hauling ships around, hauling stuff. You know, sometimes be gone days, sometimes longer than that. But anyway, so that's how I ended up there, being born there. But it was logging, beer. The state of Washington's capital is there. And the worst thing that happened to Olympia area is Evergreen State College, and I've brought that up on this show before. It is quite possibly the most liberal four-year college in Western Hemisphere. Its professors and management are made up of communists. They have no problem telling you that. And if you send your child there, or you go there, there's a good chance you'll be infected by communism, at the very least socialism, and you won't ever be the same. And if you happen to come to my house, you won't be allowed to come in the front door because I'll be afraid I'll catch something from you. But anyway, going on here, so they get upset because people, people travel. There are several million people now living on the road in America. They live in an assortment of RVs, quite a few in what's community called camper van community, where people have taken vans or they've bought commercially made vans and made little RVs, the beds and refrigerators, everything you need really, if you don't need the luxury of a full-born RV. But you can travel around that way, and people that work camp travel around and go to town that are working odd jobs. Our economy has really evolved in America. There's so many jobs that are no longer 40-hour jobs, they're part-time jobs, and there's a whole cadre of people out there that just hit the road. I've watched videos on YouTube of people living in the Silicon Valley where rent is like $4,000 to $5,000 a month for an apartment, and they live in a van parked out on the side, you know, and go to work, make their $150,000, $200,000 a year. But this is what they do. It's becoming a norm. So Lacey doesn't like this, and so they passed a law. Now here's how strict it is. I have a copy of this law, ordinance number 1549, City of Lacey. Unlawful camping. It shall be unlawful for any person to camp in the following areas except as authorized pursuant to park rules. Now they've got a couple little parks there that have a couple of spaces in them if you want to park, but you can't park in any park outside of that, any street. In other words, you can't just, even if it's a parking space on a street, you can't park there and camp. And I'm talking about just sleeping in your van or camp trailer or whatever. Any publicly owned parking lot or publicly owned area, improved or unimproved. Nope, you can't spend the night there. You can't store. Now, when they mean store, if the police can see a sleeping bag, any type of what they call camping paraphernalia that's visible in your vehicle, you can be arrested. And how this came to light was, a guy got arrested. And here's what goes on here. The penalty, it's a misdemeanor if you get arrested for any people violating these provisions, and imprisonment could not exceeding 90 days and a $1,000 fine. Now the guy didn't get arrested. They arrest him, they detained him, and then they turned him loose that day and had towed his vehicle away and stuff. He got to pay the $1,000 fine. Yeah, a $1,000 fine for going in there. Now, you say, well, that makes sense, people coming in and camping on the street, blah, blah. Now, how about this? Again, remember I told you this is a communist socialist area here? Adjacent to the main post office in the area is adjacent to it, a fenced area with 400 various tarp type tents and stuff, which is the homeless encampment. Those people have a right to come in and be homeless in Olympia, suck the taxpayer dry for whatever they can get out of them. Now this guy doing the information, and how I came upon this information here that I'm presenting you, was there. He was from Olympia. He said, I'm outside the post office. He showed on his camera, this was on YouTube, this homeless encampment, and he says, I have to leave the windows rolled up because of the smell of fecal and urine and just garbage coming from this homeless encampment. Now you can imagine going and picking up your mail down at the post office, and this is what you have to walk by. But if you happen to be just out on vacation with your wife and your dog and happen to be pulling into the area there, get some gas, get a bite to eat, now you're going to get ticketed and possibly thrown in jail. Now this was signed into effect on the 13th of June. I wonder if that was a Friday for campers. But it's signed by the mayor, Andy something and other, by the city clerk and the city attorney. Three absolute idiots is what signed is. If I'd have been the city attorney or the mayor or the clerk, I wouldn't have signed it. I'd say, are you crazy? I don't want to sign this because it's stupid. This is a case, now right here in Nye County, here in Pahrump, we have an ordinance that they passed about RVs on your property you got to run down if your RV is being used. Up to 30 days, you can get a special use permit because your brother Bill and his wife came to town and you decided to put them up in your RV while they're visiting. No, you got to go get a special use permit. Then I drive around town, as all of you out there listening in Pahrump know what I'm about to say, and I see lots with fifth wheel trailers on them and campers on them, and they're hooked up, you know, they're living in them. You know, you know, the problem we have, people, is we have stupid government. For one thing, we've got too much government. If you want to find out how stupid it is, you don't have to do go any further than to have visited a few of the meetings of when the Pahrump Town Board was in play, or up in Amargosa Valley. Go to one of their meetings. I hear they're real doozers too. And you'll see stupidity in action. And go to a county commissioner meeting. Not always, but I can guarantee you, you are going to see government in action. You're going to see stupid government action, and you're going to be stupid laws and regulations being voted on, diminishing your freedom, prohibiting you from doing what's just normal living under the guise, well, you know, it's for the public safety and well-being. You know, the public has been, Dwight, surviving for eons and eons without somebody telling the wandering traveler that, oh, you can't park there. You can't come in and get a respite from your long day's journey on the dusty roads because you've got a ice chest in the front seat of your car, because that is paraphernalia. What do you think about this, Dwight? You just got off of a trip, by the way.
Yeah, I'm one of those that has a converted van that I travel in, and it sure beats paying $100 at the local. What is it? It used to be big, or the Motel 6. It used to be $6, and now it's $100 a night. But yes, I've traveled from coast to coast. One time I went clear to the northeast corner of Newfoundland and back, and I traveled in a van, and so far I've escaped any type of harassment, but I try to make myself as invisible as possible.
Stealth camping, is that what they call that?
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's the term used.
I've paddled, I used, on the trip back east, I used to go in behind gravel pits and piles of gravel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It works pretty good. And another thing of it is, you know, that if anybody's going to bother you outside of the law, they're going to bother you on the in a town and stuff. And well, I'll call out on the subject. One time, I was coming back, traveling on the bottom of the Badlands back in the Dakotas.
Right.
And I met a lady there that was traveling by herself, and I said, "Is it kind of dangerous?" She says, "Well, it's not, as long as you don't go where the rich people are." She says, you know, down in Mexico and parts of South America where you travel, it says you travel on a public conveyance there, and you have to share a seat with a goat or a basket of chickens or something. Nobody's going to bother you because there's no value. But you go into a big town where there's money, then you're going to get had. So, you know, just a little bit of logic, and you get by just fine.
Well, basically what they're telling you is pull off the interstate or the road, come in, make sure you fill up your gas tank so we can get our cut of the gas tax.
Right.
Make sure you buy something from the overpriced, you know, aisles that are stacked, because that's the most expensive place to do. Don't go to Walmart anymore, because a lot of those are the camping's being cut out of Walmart and the other stores because of county ordinance, like Las Vegas doesn't allow you to pull in as an RVer and spend the night in Walmart over there, even though you can do it different places of the country. Make sure you go spend some money at somebody's, but don't take up any public parking, because our residents need that parking. But go in, make sure you drop all the money you can, and then be on your way. We don't want you here. Well, you know, I don't intend to go back there. You know, here's the funny thing, Dwight. In Lacey, my great-great-grandfather actually founded Lacey, Washington. The Ruddle Road, which is a main road through Lacey, is that's my great-great-grandfather. And there's a cemetery down that road not too far called the Pioneer Cemetery. My great-great-grandfather had something like 1,600 acres of land there that he'd homesteaded and bought different areas out. My roots are there. My mom and dad are buried in a cemetery. My sister, my grandparents, everything. I'm not going to be able to go check out my parents' graves and, you know, pay my wishes to them. There's literally hundreds upon hundreds of my relatives there in that cemetery. I've got a grave there that's laid out for me, that, you know, that I don't have to pay. I'm not going to be buried there. I'm afraid the communists will come and dig me up and grind me up and mix me into some potion and snort it up their nose or something. But no, I really feel about this. Just crazy. This is affecting me. I've got a daughter that lives there in Olympia. I got a grandson that used to live there. It's just, it's crazy. But this is not the only town with this. Here in Nevada, here's some laws here. Now, these are laws that are on the books, and they're very stupid. You guys are going to hear here, but they're on the books. They can be enforced. In Eureka, Nevada, men who wear mustaches, Dwight, are forbidden from kissing women.
How about that?
You can't kiss a woman in Eureka if you have a mustache.
Well, I'm all right then. I could probably kiss one once in a while, be clean shaven.
Well, what about the women that kiss women and they've got a mustache? Because see, this is a prejudicial law right here. This is sexism. What's the term? Miscogny? Is that
misogynist?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's probably racist too.
It probably is.
Yeah. That term is being overworked.
Oh God, is it?
Yeah, well, I'm from Idaho, and I looked up and got one or two on there. It's pretty good. It says it's there's a little bit of controversy on it, but it says it's illegal to fish while sitting on the back of a camel or a giraffe.
In Idaho?
Yeah. And over at Rexburg, which is over in the southeast corner over there.
Yeah, I've been there lots of times.
Well, it's illegal to throw snowballs in Rexburg, but the residents has overcome that, but they have a square mold that they make their snow missiles in, and they can throw those without
because they're square, right?
Right, they're not round.
So do the cops come out and check, and you know, like with a, you know, a square, a carpenter square, and make sure that it doesn't have rounded edges or anything?
Don't know. Well, anyway. And then another one I like is you cannot hunt with a remote control over the internet. But no mention is made about hunting with a remote control not over the internet. Now, what the world is remote control?
How do you hunt with a? Is this like some computer game?
I don't know.
People. Here's what's crazy, Dwight. People elected these morons into office that probably sat down with their moronic attorney that they hired, because you know, birds of a feather flock together, and their moronic either city manager, county manager, or what have you, town manager, and thought up this, you know, well, we just can't do that. Well, look at in Nevada here. Now, you can't fish on a camel in Idaho, but in Nevada I'm not kidding you, this is on the books, it's illegal to drive a camel on the highway. You cannot. Now, I don't even know how you drive a camel. I've seen camels at the Pima County Fairgrounds in Tucson where you get up and get on a ride, but I didn't know camels came with a steering wheel, a accelerator pedal, and brakes. But maybe I've been in the wrong part of the loony bin in the state legislature when they passed that one. Here's another one. In Nyala, Nevada, again, another sexist law. a man is forbidden from buying drinks for more than 3 people other than himself at any one period during the day. So if you're down here, in this town of Nyala, I don't know where it's at. I hope it's gone extinct and just completely disappeared, because no doubt town, Dwight, deserves to be in existence. It needs to be a ghost town that has some stupid law. If you were having a birthday party down at, come on, let's go have a couple of drinks, and you take 3 of your buddies, because my God, you can't have a fourth. And a 4th buddy pops into the saloon and sees you there. Hey, and what's going on? Birthday party. You can wish me birthday, happy birthday. I can't buy you a drink or anybody here, because that makes 4 of us, and we're all going to go to jail. How about this one? It's still legal in Nevada to hang someone for shooting your dog on your property. On your property in Nevada, it's on the books that if you can hang someone, it's legal to hang someone in Nevada for shooting your dog on your property. Now, I don't know, I guess I got some pine trees that I could probably throw a rope over the top of it somehow, but most of my trees in the property, no, wait a minute, I got some almond trees that probably hold kind of a skinny man. I guess if the Nye County sheriffs come by, I'm trying to think about how I'd handle this. I got a guy on my property who shot my dog, so I wrestled him to the ground and tied his hands behind his back and his legs, and I'm going to hoist him up the tree to hang him. I would probably get shot, and as my last dying words, I'd say, but it's the law.
Well, gee whiz, in New York they can hang people with nothing to hook the rope on.
How do they do that?
Well, they're trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah, I know. If you listened to my show the other night, I got, yeah. Now we find out that Jeffrey, what is it? The what's that bone in your neck?
Hyoid bone.
Huh?
Hyoid bone.
The hyoid bone happens to be broken in his neck, which is, they don't know what to do now, because this is a bone that gets broken when you strangle somebody. Oh, well, there's a chance, I suppose. This is what the medical is. I suppose there's a chance the bone could get broken. No, somebody strangled this guy, Dwight. It's just great.
There's another thing interesting about the hyoid bone. It's the only bone in your body that's not connected to another bone.
What's it for?
Oh, I don't know. It's just there.
I guess God had some extra parts left over. When my kids were small, Brenda must have been 6 or something, and Andrea was 3. I bought them you've guided through this. Any guy out there knows what I'm about to say. I bought one of those Sears and Roebuck swing sets.
Okay.
And it's colder than the Dickens out, because it's Christmas time, and I'm out in the backyard. My wife at the time coming in and saying, what's taking you so long? And I got all these parts out there. Well, I ended up getting the whole thing put together. The slide, the swings, the teeter-totter and all that. And I got all these parts laying there. And she says, well, where do those go? And we look like, I don't know. And then I was, you're kind of scared. Is this thing going to fall down and hurt my kids or something, because I didn't put some parts in? But to this day, I don't know where those parts are. So I guess God might have made the swing set too, and then sit over there. I don't know. But how about this? Benches may not be placed in the middle of any street in Reno. So if you're in Reno and you're thinking about, let's put a bench out and watch the pigeons, feed the pigeons. Well, you can't put it in the middle of the street in Reno.
Well, that sounds pretty reasonable.
Now,
you might get run over by a camel.
Right.
That doesn't have a steering wheel.
It gets even better in New Hampshire here, folks. Nevada, it doesn't have the well, it does. Stupid laws. Now, these were state laws for that some of these laws we've been talking about, but most of these have been civic laws. And Nevada, although I have to say that here in Nye County, we Well, we hold a high regard to commissioners that vote for stupid laws because they keep getting reelected. But, you know, on their law, you know what we should do at election time when any incumbent is up asking questions, you know, asking for questions, what we should say is, have you voted for any stupid laws since you've been in office? Now I want you to think real clear, because we're gonna quiz you here if you have. And if you don't lie to us. Now this is laws that you admit to right here in front of the voters that yes, I voted for some stupid laws and I'm here to say I'm sorry and I won't vote for them again. But if they lie to us, then we pull out the last 4 years of laws that they voted on that were stupid. And stupid can also mean depriving you and me of our freedom for no logical reason whatsoever. You know, like the ordinance that was passed that you have to get a conditional use permit for your brother Billy and his wife Jane to come and stay in your property. Even though they're all over town, multiple RVs being used for this purpose, being lived in full time. I have a 38-foot fifth wheel that we travel in, and I have my daughter. We just had friends from Caliente stay, and I dared Nye County to come to my property and ask me where my conditional use permit. And if they're listening right now, go ahead and make my day.
Very good.
Okay, New Hampshire. Dumb laws. And here in this state, we trust to hold the very first presidential straw vote, or I don't know what they call it there. This is the state where they have the very first presidential, what's it called there? Is it a primary? Is it called?
Yeah.
It's something like that. We trust these people to set the tone, but this is how stupid they are. Any cattle that cross the state's roads must be fitted with a device to gather its feces. So if you're running cattle in New Hampshire, you're going to have to rig up, I guess, a portable outhouse or something that attaches to the rear end of the cow to collect the feces. Also, you cannot sell the clothes you are wearing to pay off a gambling debt. So if you happen to be down in a poker game or down at the bingo hall or something, or you're on a sport at the University of New Hampshire's football game, and you happen to have a bet and you lose it, you cannot sell your clothes to pay off the debt.
Maybe they passed that law to prohibit strip poker.
I don't know. But here's another one. On Sundays in New Hampshire, citizens may not relieve themselves while looking up. I guess you could relieve yourself while looking down, but you cannot relieve yourself from looking up. Now, I understand a little bit about that, because sometimes you have to dance when you're up the urinal around here to keep the, the guy next to you from spraying you. Okay, I think we might have to take a break here in a second, but I'll get this last one in before we go to break. If a person, and this is New Hampshire, is caught raking the beaches, picking up litter, hauling away trash, building a bench for the park, or many other kinds of things without a permit, he or she may be fined $150 for, quote, maintaining the national forest without a permit. And with that, I'm going to take a break. This is Dwight Lilly with Dwight Hunter and my guest. We'll be right back. You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't.
This is so stupid.
That was a phone call for Jerry.
Huh?
The phone call for Jerry.
Was she listening to the show?
No, it was some lady calling for Jerry.
Oh, okay.
Which never happened. This is KP.
I thought I saw her car up there.
You're listening to the best voice in the valley, Dwight Lilly.
Okay, back here with Dwight Hunter, and we're discussing stupid Looney Tune laws that have been passed by people that you out there vote for. Now, New Mexico, this is a law in New Mexico, Dwight, that I want replicated. Here's one I want replicated in Nevada. This law I want replicated in New Mexico. I got a call, but the caller, I'll be right with you. idiots may not vote in New Mexico. They have a state law in New Mexico that idiots cannot vote. I want that law passed. Are you hearing me, Gregory Hafen II? Gregory, I want you to take a bill up to the next legislature, Assembly bill, outlining idiots may not vote. Okay, I got a call there. You got Ray. You know, he's right. Well, the Nye County cops that were here, if you read the Nye County Brothel Wallers book, which I recommend people that move here read. In fact, if you read the Nye County Brothel Wars book, you might not move to Pahrump, because I didn't find out about it until later. But there was like, yeah, he's right. There's like 4 cops or something like that. 2 of them, and it's in the book, actually bailed and went to Florida because of the illegal activities they were doing, and they just couldn't take it anymore. The orders they were being given to do, they couldn't stomach it. Well, we had the brothel out here that they Nye County Sheriff deputies firebombed and almost killed some prostitutes there and everything else. So we have a colorful history here, and you know, having to do with the sheriff department, and it's not that way now. It's just a different way. I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, in New Mexico, now if you don't like the word sex, close your ears here. In New Mexico, it's legal for couples to have sex in a parked vehicle during their lunch break from work, as long as the car or van has drawn curtains to stop strangers from peeking. So they actually have a law there in New Mexico that it's okay to do this, just don't let anybody peek at you. And in Las Cruces, you may not carry a lunchbox down Main Street, Dwight. Now, if you're in Las Cruces, remember this: do not carry a lunchbox down Main Street, because you're liable to get thrown in the hoosgow.
Well, that's about as smart as California outlawing plastic straws to drink your drink with.
I know. Yeah, no plastic straws. Well, actually, in California, now I'm not sure about this, Dwight, but I'm thinking there's probably a law that it's illegal to have an IQ more than 65 in California, and in Southern California, the coastal cities, it's illegal to have a brain. You cannot possess a brain if you happen to live in one of the coastal cities there. But no, I'm just kidding on that. Okay, now here's another New Mexico law, another sexist one. It's forbidden for a female to appear unshaven in public. You cannot, women, if you go to New Mexico, make sure you shave before you go. You're liable to get a ticket and thrown in jail for, I don't know what happens if you grow a full beard there. Hunting is prohibited in Mountain View Cemetery in Deming.
Well,
yeah, you can't go out and hunt out there. I guess it. Well, I don't know what you
might disturb the dead.
Yeah, you might disturb the dead out there. You might shoot a ghost or something, and cause all sorts of spooky things to happen in that town.
Right.
Now, you know, they passed this. Now, some of these, you can kind of think they had to pass it because there was so many stupid people going out to the cemetery. Maybe it's an area where there was a lot of deer running across or antelope or something, and they said, you know, we got to have a law. People are out there trying to have funerals or visiting their loved one's gravesite, and the bullets are whizzing past their head. So we but you know, that is, if you talk to a commissioner, talk to a city councilman where you live, they'll probably admit to you, you know, I know it's stupid, but we have a lot of stupid people here. Yeah. You know, like in Reno, they'd probably say, you know, we had people that were actually pulling the park benches out in the middle of the street and sitting on them. We had to pass a law to stop that. And instead of their neighbors coming up, now I tell people that when I was a kid growing up, I don't remember the police being ever called to our neighborhood. And we actually had a child molester that lived 2 blocks up. The police were never called. I'll tell you why. The dads got together, Dwight, and they took care of business.
That's right.
They took care. There was not problems if you had some thuggery going on, something, now, problems existed, but the dads on the block took care of the problem. Was that the way it was where you're at?
That's right. And then it come along, and the police said, well, you can't do this. You're infringing upon our business. That you can't take care of these situations. You're supposed to report them to us, such as dope and stuff like that. In the old days, you know, you wind up with people with broken arms and a few other things from falling down, and we didn't have those problems.
Well, we just have a lot of stupid people now. You know, the dumbing down in America has taken place, but I'm almost thinking that maybe it's toxicity, problems with our food supply, nutrition, something. It seems like, Dwight, there's a lot more stupid people than there used to be.
Well, you know, like I say, that the ones that's bringing all this on is the educated people. But then there's education is not a cure for stupidity.
No, it isn't. Education is not a cure for stupidity. Folks, write that down. That's a quote from Dwight Hunter, and put it on. Somebody put it on a t. Would somebody out there that makes T-shirts make me a shirt that says that? Education is not a cure for stupidity. Okay, here's another Oklahoma law. It is illegal for the owner of a bar, this is in Oklahoma, to allow anyone inside to pretend to have sex with a buffalo. Now, this is a law. If you're in Oklahoma, you can't, and you're the bar owner, you can't allow any of these guys in there to pretend, or maybe it's women too. Hey, there I was sexist again. It's illegal to pretend to have sex with a buffalo. And it's also statutory rape in Oklahoma to have sex with a female under the age of 18, provided she's a virgin. I don't know how you decide this, but I don't want to read a lot of these laws. Most of the states have some really stupid laws surrounding sex and the control of your behavior as a human being. When I grew up, again, common sense, these kind of questions were never even broached. I mean, it was just, you wouldn't think about doing some of these things. However, I will admit that there were people probably having sex with people, and you know.
Do you remember back when they were using high school and dating? I guess you probably dated during high school.
Oh yeah, of course I did.
Well, this is what I come to the conclusion of. I grew up that a girl couldn't get pregnant during the daytime, but sure enough, they got pregnant after midnight. Because, you know, you never, the last thing they said, you've got to be home by midnight.
Yes, I remember that.
So my conclusion was, that's the only time a girl can get pregnant, is after midnight.
Well, you know, so I'm going to set this aside for a second and bring up a case was in the paper today. All seriousness aside here, all seriousness. There's a couple jokers in there that they arrested that are both adults. One of them was 33 years old. And I'm doing this right now as a public service out there for parents listening to this. There are guys on the internet surfing around soliciting your daughters that are way underage to meet with them for the purposes of immoral behavior. And in this case, it was a 14-year-old girl. And I don't know if the girl must have gone, I think maybe the parents saw it on their social media account, you know, something. And this Nye County Sheriff Department, I want to praise them right now. They set up a sting operation, and they had somebody in the Nye County Sheriff Department that I guess looks pretty young. I don't know who that would be. Who is it? Sharon? No, it wasn't Sharon, I don't think. But anyway, and they got these two idiots. So that, anyway, I just wanted to say that. So parents out there, please, 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 make sure your kids are aware of what's going on the internet. Don't let them get conned. These people are experts at conning them. So that's all I got to say about that. But anyway, going on for Oklahoma, it's illegal, Dwight, to wear your boots to bed in Oklahoma. Do not wear your boots to bed in Oklahoma if you happen to be there. You're liable to get arrested.
Yeah, Can't never tell.
Now, I haven't figured out how they check to see if you got your boots on or not, but the only way you wouldn't get arrested, I've got it figured out now, in Oklahoma, if you wore your boots to bed, is if you died with your boots on. Because
you got a point.
or maybe they blame death on boots, and I don't know. Okay, here's another one. Oklahoma again. It is against the law to read a comic book while operating a motor vehicle.
Well, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, so if you've got a copy of Batman or the Marvel, you know, the Marvels, Green Lantern, Superman, and all that, do not read that comic book driving in Oklahoma. They had to pass a law for this, which tells me there was a lot of people reading comic books driving down the road in Oklahoma, which gets back to the notion I made that there's just a awful lot of stupid people in America.
Well, sometimes on these things, we look at these laws and they look absolutely stupid. But just think back and sort of try to visualize what caused them to pass that law in the first place.
Again, yes, I know.
That was probably a whole lot more humorous than the laws they passed.
I can picture the Oklahoma State Police Officers Association, or whatever they call the association, coming to the legislature and saying, we know you're not going to believe this. No, this is not an April Fool's joke. We got to have a law against people reading comic books while they're driving. We've had accidents. We've found the dead body with a comic book wide open to page 10 of Superman. And, you know, it's kind of like the cell phone, you know.
Yeah.
Now, I see this around here. I see people roaring through town. Generally, they're speeding, weaving in and out of traffic, and talking on the phone at the same time. I have seen people reading the newspaper in Southern California at 70 miles an hour on I-15. Reading the newspaper.
Well,
so I have seen things like this.
Well, when I lived in California, I had to commute pretty good distances.
Right.
And I always marveled at how good of drivers most women were going to work, because they were able to go to work, put on their makeup, their false eyelashes, comb their hair, and a few other things while they're driving 60 miles an hour down the road. Now, that takes talent.
It does. I've seen that. I've seen people shaving, too, going down the road and brushing their teeth.
Right.
Oh, my God. You know, listen.
Well, it was one thing that I always said in California. Yeah, I never worried about the other drivers during the weekday. On Saturday, oh my God, you know, everybody is out of sync, you know.
Oh my God, yeah. You know, well, I don't understand this, but if there was a poll taken and people had to answer honestly, and the work day begins at 8 o'clock at your place of business, how many people got up at 7:30 in the morning out of bed? You know, really.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't roll out of the sack until 7:30. They threw on their pants or shirt, maybe got it on backwards, got the left shoe on the right foot, the right shoe on the left foot. I've seen different socks on people, and made fun of them. But how many people just arrive at the office? Now they're supposed to be ready to go to work, and they were literally dreaming of Jeannie 35 minutes ago. Oh, this is crazy. Now here's a couple of dog ones, and this is back to Oklahoma. And I don't know how you enforce this one here. People who make ugly faces at dogs may be fined or jailed in Oklahoma. You can't make an ugly face at a dog in Oklahoma. Now, again, there had to have been a case where people were teasing a dog, a bunch of dogs. Maybe this was a sport in Oklahoma at one time. You know, there's a lot of Okies down there. that they, you know, what's unfortunate too is they came to California.
Yeah.
You see, I'm picking on Oklahoma right now. This is the birthplace of the idiots in actually the people that moved to Oklahoma back during the Depression. Most of them, well, they're dead, but their descendants, most of them have moved out of California. Unfortunately, a lot of them have come to Pahrump, Nevada. unfortunately. And I'll just leave that at that. Okay, here's another dog one. Now, I don't know how you enforce this one, Dwight. Dogs must have a permit signed by the mayor in order to congregate in groups of 3 or more on private property. You cannot have 3 or more dogs on property if they do not have a permit that's been signed by the mayor.
Well, I don't know.
So, well, now you travel a lot. You go around. Make sure you're up to speed on all this. I don't want to have, where's Dwight at? Oh, didn't you know he's doing time down in Oklahoma? And fish may not be contained in fish bowls while on a public bus. You cannot in Oklahoma get on a public bus, I guess downtown Okie City or something, Tulsa, someplace, with your fish bowl with you. You just can't do it. Now you can probably take your cat with you, your dog, or maybe a goat, but you cannot take your fish in a fish bowl on the bus.
Well, you probably have to put them in a plastic bag.
Yeah, so yeah, I suppose if you put them in a plastic bag, you can say, they're not in a bowl, but because you want to take your fish for a walk, right? I mean, it's something that Okies do, I guess. And here's the last one for Oklahoma. It is illegal to have the hind legs of a farm animal in your boots in Oklahoma.
Oh boy, I know where that one comes from.
I'm not going there with a 20-foot
No, I'm not either.
Okay, go on. Now, here is the communist state of Oregon, some of their dumb state laws. It is illegal to whisper dirty things in your lover's ear during sex. This is an Oregon law. I want the guys out there to take, well, women too. Now, wait a minute. I'm not going to be sexist on this show and be accused of sexism. Listen it up. You cannot whisper dirty things. It is illegal to place a container filled with human fecal matter on the side of any highway. Now, I have seen this on Interstate 5. I've seen it in rest areas. I suspect it has to do with the truck drivers driving through there. And it's such a mess that they had to pass a law. And that's a law I would support. It's a crazy law. Dwight, this is such a crazy law to have to pass. But you have to, if you travel any of it all, you know why. Because you see this stuff along the highway.
But these things always gets me is, how are you going to enforce them?
I don't know.
I mean, they're just dumb things on the books, but they're unenforceable.
Well, how about this one in Oregon? Ice cream may not be eaten on Sundays.
Well,
it's a law. You cannot eat ice cream on Sundays. I don't know how they're going to, what, they come over and sneak in your window and, wow, Dwight Hunter and Dwight Lilly are eating. I know that's chocolate ice cream in those bowls right there.
Yeah, we got an ice cream stick because we can see the sticks in their hand.
Quick, get Judge Sullivan on the phone. We need a search warrant to get into this house to make sure that that's ice cream in that bowl. We'll take that bowl out and have it tested for what?
Ice cream?
Yeah, but I wonder if the Nye County Sheriff's Department knows how to test for ice cream. As I understand, they don't know how to test for
What was that they said the other morning at breakfast? Is how many deputies does it take to write a ticket or something like that?
Yes. I think that out at Paul Lemus's house, and that's what I was referring to, evidently they destroyed a bunch of evidence. Completely wrong. Paul knew everything they were supposed to do to test to see if his hemp was marijuana or not. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But anyway, I heard that Chris Arabia is not even, that case is over with.
Yeah, that's what
I doubt the lawsuits are over with because Paul is an extremely upset guy.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't blame him.
No, I wouldn't either. Here in Oregon, babies may not be carried on the running boards of a car. In Oregon, you can, come on, if you're going to go up to Oregon, folks, do not carry your baby on the running board of a car. You will get stopped and ticketed.
Here's a good one. How many cars now have running boards?
I know.
That must have been passed back in the 20s.
Canned corn is not to be used as bait for fishing. Now, you can use corn in the cob.
Oh boy.
You can use frozen corn, but canned corn cannot be used. And in Klamath River, it's illegal to walk down a sidewalk and knock a snake's head off with your cane. So if this is a sport in Klamath Falls, take up another sport like bowling or pool, billiards, something, because you can't go around knocking snakes' heads off with your cane there in Klamath Falls. And in Hood River, juggling is prohibited without a license.
Oh.
So you can't juggle your bills, juggle your, you know. So anyway, here's in Tennessee. We only got a couple minutes, but I want to get a few more. I got a low. I'm gonna have to save these over for. We'll cover some more because, believe me, folks, all 50 states have very stupid lawmakers. You can't shoot any game other than whales from a moving automobile in Tennessee.
Wow. Well, that pretty well limits what you can shoot.
I know. I mean, you can't. You know, whales, yes. Nothing else. Yeah, also, the age of consent in Tennessee is 16, but 12 if the girl is a virgin. That is a law in Tennessee. Driving is not to be done while asleep in Tennessee. They have a law about that. No snoozing, no sleeping in Tennessee while you're driving. They still have a law. This is crazy. I wouldn't think they'd still have. Maybe I shouldn't think this is crazy. Interracial marriages are illegal in Tennessee. And I'm down to my last minute.
Well, not only in Tennessee, but all throughout below the Mason-Dixon line.
Right.
At one time.
The last one tonight. It's legal to gather and consume roadkill in Tennessee. So if you see a jackrabbit that got ran over 3 days ago and you're hungry, you consume it. But that's going to do it tonight, folks. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Make sure you drink lots of water. Please do not drink and drive. I'm seeing you out there when I leave the studio here. You guys have a great week. This is Dwight and Lilly. Over and out.
You've been listening to
Oh my
the Lilly
God.
Show.